Hello there, my name is Edgar Ramirez, and I am a computer science student at California State University, Channel Islands. I'm here to present my project titled Fantasy Football Start Sit Analyzer. The main reason I chose to do this project was because of my love of fantasy football. Every year I'm usually in three fantasy football leagues, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Um, but the point of this capstone project was to attempt to give the user an easier choice of selecting different players.
So in fantasy football, there are different positions. So as you can see here, this is one of the leagues that I've participated in. You're allowed one quarterback, two wide receivers, two running backs, one tight end, and this is just any offensive player. You're also given a set of different bench players that you can take out of the lineup, a kicker, and a defense, but we're mainly going to focus on the offensive production up here. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is that each offensive statistic gives you points. So for this Yahoo League here, 25 yards for a quarterback will give you 1 point. A passing touchdown by quarterback will give you 6 points, and so on and so on. And you can see here there's also statistics for kickers as well.
So as I just showed you, there's a lot of different permutations or a lot of different choices that you can make when it comes to fantasy football, setting up your lineup every week. Um, and there's a lot of factors that you also have to consider on top of who you're going to be playing. So in this case, there's usually opponents that you have to match up against. Certain opponents match up differently against a lot tougher rather that against certain positions. You have to consider the weather, although it might be a minor factor, but it's still to be considered. And then finally, you have to also consider the health of the player. So I try to factor all these different properties, characteristics into my web application.
For the web application, I chose to go with Amazon Web Services or AWS as the platform to build my web application. So I'm already in the EC2 instance and I already have it running so that I can run my web application, which is located here. And as you'll see, it's a very simple, minimal viable product. So my goal was I wanted to allow the user to not just be limited to just two names for football players, because through my experience, I've seen that a few websites have been able to only process two names, and the other two or possibly three were came at an extra charge. So I wanted to make it slightly different than other websites. So let's go ahead and do a sample. I may try to make it easy for the user to be able to do this. So I already put in the information that they need to type in into the text box, and I even gave some mild instructions, but let's just go ahead and run this. So let's do an easy one. Let's do Tua Tagovailoa and Tom Brady. For those that don't really know football that well, Tom Brady had a pretty impressive season last year, so he should be the clear winner. So let's go ahead and analyze this. There we go. We get Tom Brady. Now let's do one other sample. I'm going to go ahead and do multiple players. So I'm going to choose Dalvin Cook, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and lastly, I'm going to type in Josh Allen, which should be the player that had the best season because he did perform better than Tom Brady and Mike Evans and Dalvin Cook as well. So let's go ahead and analyze this, and we get the same, we get the expected result. And I even implemented this go back button so that way we can easily go back and forth But these are done through routes that I created in Node.js and using Express as well. So it basically allows me to input the information into the text box, and when the analyze button is hit, it triggers a post method to the node code, and then that will perform the analysis, which will then query a connection that was made with the RDS. And then in result, it will then bring it to the analyze website or the analyze route, and it'll basically take the result or the comparison and basically display the name there. I also try to take some several scenarios in case the user did mistakenly do something wrong. So if they were to hit analyze and let's say they didn't put in a name, it'll give this message alert. Also, it is necessary for the player to put in 2 names at the very least. So if there's only 1 player, it'll give the message for the last one to tell the user to at least have 1 more player inputted. So that way it can run the query. It needs at least 2. Another scenario that I accounted for was in case the user chose to, for whatever reason, skip one of the boxes. It should also perform the query and the comparison, no matter where they input names down. And that is it. That's my fantasy football analyzer. I hope you enjoyed it and learned just a little bit about fantasy football. So thank you for listening.